Revolver guns comes with different types based on their model, such as single action, double action, swing out cylinder, fixed cylinder, and the rest. The main model based on the concepts list above are Colt Python, Ruger LCR, and the rest. In today's video, we are going to look at the revolver guns, their working mechanism, and the rest. Subscribe, like, and share. Barrel, this is a metal tube that a bullet travels through when fired. Cylinder holds the ammunition. It is a cylindrical-shaped piece of steel that can have anywhere from 5 to 10 chambers that each hold one round of ammo or cartridge. The cylinder will rotate to align the chamber with the barrel with either a trigger pull, the double action, or by clocking the hammer, the single action. Frame is a metal piece of the revolver that acts as the body, holding all its other parts. Muzzle is the end of the barrel that the bullet exists from. Hammer is a moving piece located behind the cylinder and centered with the barrel. It strikes either a firing pin or cartridge primer in order to fire a round. On a single-action revolvers, the shooter must manually clock the hammer in order to fire a round. Trigger is the metal piece that the shooter pulls back with their finger to fire the revolver. The trigger will perform different functions on double-action or single-action revolvers. Trigger guard, a loop surrounding the trigger to prevent the shooter from accidentally pulling the trigger. Grip, the part of the revolver that the shooter holds in order to fire a round. It may be wood or rubber material for easy gripping. Cylinder release is a small lever found on the left side of a revolver. Its purpose is to allow the cylinder to swing out for loading and unloading rounds. It is spring-loaded and typically pushed down, forward, or in to release the cylinder. Top strap, the metal piece that goes over the top of the cylinder and is part of the frame. Crane or yoke, this is the piece that swivels out and supports the cylinder. Smith & Wesson uses the term yoke, while other revolver makers call it crane. Chambers, the openings in the revolver cylinder that hold the ammunition. Each chamber holds one individual round. Extractor star is the star-shaped piece at the top of the cylinder that pushes out the cartridges out of the cylinder when shooter presses the ejector rod. Ejector rod ejects spent casings or cartridges that are located in the chamber when pressed by the shooter. In a single-action revolver, this will eject the round one at a time. In a double-action revolvers, all the rounds or cartridges in the cylinder will be ejected. Colt Python revolver is loaded by first pulling the cylinder latch to the rear. It unlocks the cylinder by means of a spring-loaded latch pin. Crane or yoke is now able to swivel the cylinder out of its way. The cartridges are then loaded to all 6 chambers. Cylinder returned back to its place and rotated to ensure the bolt, that is, cylinder stop, has locked into position. Colt Python revolvers fires a double-action and single-action operation. During double-action operation, trigger is pulled until it cocks and releasing the hammer to fire. As the trigger is pulled in the hammer stroke, cocking the hammer. Also, as the hammer rotates, the mainspring is compressed by means of hammer strata and rebound level, which is pushed up by the trigger. As the hammer reaches its cocked position, it slips off the trigger. Simultaneously, the trigger pushes down on a bolt, popping it out of the cylinder pocket. The hand engages the ratchet of the cylinder ejector, indexing it into the next chamber. Just as the hammer is released, the bolt drops into the next pocket, locking the cylinder rotation. At the same time, the trigger raises the transfer bar behind the firing pin. As the hammer is released, it strikes the transfer bar, transferring its energy to the firing pin, which travels forward, impacting the cartridge primer. When the trigger is pulled, the firing pin is released and strikes the primer cap located at the base of the cartridge. The impact of the firing pin creates a sudden compression, igniting the explosive primer compound inside the primer. The ignition of the primer ignites the gunpowder within the cartridge, creating high-pressure gases that force the bullet out of the cartridge and through the barrel. I hope you found this video informative. If you did, kindly subscribe, like, and share. See you in the next one.